Elon Musk has been a busy boy of late, what with his multi-billion-dollar takeover of Twitter and all. But it also seems he has been making some personnel changes at SpaceX and Twitter, and a questionable rumor has also emerged about his father potentially once owning an emerald mine. Today we're discussing both stories, plus loads more Elon Musk bits and pieces, so stay right where you are. First up, Musk has issued an ultimatum to his new Twitter employees. It's safe to say that after Elon Musk finally completed his long-running Twitter takeover saga at the end of October, he has quickly begun the changes at the company's HQ. Earlier this week, it has been suggested that Mr. Musk has told his new employees that they must work long hours at high intensity or face the sack. Musk reportedly sent an email to his new underlings in which he outlined their new working conditions, but he did offer those who weren't interested in actually working for their pay 3-month severance. I mean, is it so wild that a company CEO expects workers to work hard for their higher than average salaries? The letter contained phrases such as staff will need to be extremely hardcore, and this will mean working long hours at high intensity. Only exceptional performance will constitute a passing grade. But of course, some people were triggered by Musk's demands, as he also stated that staff would be expected in office for a minimum of 40 hours a week, which in most firms around the world is completely normal. Musk is attempting to stop the bleeding at Twitter, as reports suggest the company is losing around $4 million per day, and has also suggested the company will face difficult times ahead. He is only doing what any CEO would do by instilling a work ethic. But in this day and age, there is always going to be pushback no matter what Musk does. We're discussing his decision to fire Twitter's head of sales next. Stick around. Paying $44 billion for a company brings with it certain perks, one of which is replacing staff who refuse to do their jobs. Earlier this week, it was revealed that Musk and Twitter have parted ways with former executive Robin Wheeler, after the former sales head allegedly refused to sack people in the ad sales team. Wheeler had actually attempted to resign earlier this month, but Musk persuaded her to stay on, only to fire her as she refused to carry out orders on his behalf. I mean, people refusing to do their job surely constitutes a firing, or are we missing something here? Musk had wanted the ad sales team more streamlined, so tasked Wheeler with making cuts, but she reportedly argued that the division was already somewhat depleted. In response, she refused to carry out her duties and was terminated. She has since updated her Twitter bio to proud ex-Twitter sales exec, but likes and shares on Twitter won't pay the bills, unfortunately for her. We're unsure where this pushback to actually do your job has risen from in the past few years, and it seems as though the woke vocal minority have finally met their match in Musk. Next up, the new CEO has lifted Donald Trump's Twitter ban. Musk has made plenty of changes since taking over at Twitter, not least attempting to get rid of the fake accounts and bots which plague the social media site. But another slightly more controversial decision has seen him reinstate former President of America Donald Trump, who was banned from a plethora of social media sites following the January 6 riots. The world's richest man polled Twitter users and let them decide whether or not people who had been banned from the site should be allowed back, with a majority of 51.8% deciding in favor of a return for Trump and others who had seen their accounts suspended. However, Trump himself didn't seem to be all that bothered by the news, as he claimed that he doesn't see any reason to return to Twitter. The company's upper management acted after Trump was blamed for inciting the riots, which left 5 people dead back in January 2021, prompting the former president to launch his own social media platform, known as Truth Social, which has a fraction of the amount of users Twitter has. Trump's posting abilities have been reinstated, but he is yet to tweet, so it will be interesting to see if he does eventually rejoin the Twitter party or stay firm on his own platform. He has recently announced plans to run for the 2024 presidency, so we can probably expect him to return to the platform as his need for more publicity grows in the next year or so. Do you think Trump should have been reinstated? So, what about these claims from former SpaceX employees? Former employees of Elon Musk's SpaceX company have recently suggested they were given the boot for criticizing their former boss. It turns out the 8 people in question had written a letter in which they questioned Musk's online behavior, but were fired back in June after the CEO got wind of it. Just for clarification here, employees had written an open letter critical of their own CEO and were fired. We're not sure exactly what they expected. The letter addressed things like Musk joking about paying off a flight attendant who accused him of sexual harassment, and stated things like, Elon's behavior in the public sphere is a frequent source of distraction and embarrassment for us, particularly in recent weeks. I mean, if you openly criticize your boss, you can almost certainly expect ramifications, right? The employees later met with a top SpaceX official who told them the letter was an extremist act, but they argued that the boss was failing to live up to his own no ASS hole policy, accusing him of publicly embarrassing SpaceX. I mean, if their working conditions are so terrible, they can easily go and find another job where their every need and whim will be pampered, right? There are millions of people around the world who would kill for a job at a company such as SpaceX, and if the CEO is embarrassing himself, why do you really care in the grand scheme of things? What do you make of all this? So, what about this emerald mine rumor? Let's see. Since Musk completed his takeover of Twitter recently, an old rumor of his father's involvement in an apartheid-era emerald mine in his native South Africa has re-emerged. The rumor isn't a new one and first emerged back in 2018, but has raised serious concerns considering the fact that mines in those days almost certainly ran on slave labor. Reports have suggested that Elon's father, Errol, who has been estranged from his son for some time, used to own a mine in South Africa, the proceeds of which benefited Elon in the form of seed money for his early business ventures. However, those claims are not supported by any evidence. Elon himself has addressed claims that his father was involved in a mining operation in the past, tweeting back in December 2019 that his father didn't own an emerald mine, before adding that the rumor was BS. Musk also denied his father had any financial input on his early business dealings, stating that he started one of his early companies, Zip2, with money he had saved himself, as well as $5K from my bro and $8K from Greg Curry. He then added my dad provided 10% of a $200,000 angel funding round much later, but by then risk was reduced and round would have happened anyway. The original account, which the story originated from, has since been deleted, and we are still awaiting any evidence which categorically proves Musk's father owned an emerald mine. What did Errol himself have to say then? Stick around to find out. Well, Elon has done his best to distance himself not only from any emerald mine talk, but from his father too, and back in July 2020 again denied he was involved in an emerald mine in any way, shape, or form. He also added that he was never given free money from anyone, inheritance or otherwise. However, the rumor has persisted, and in March 2021, he was forced to again deny the claims, tweeting that the rumor was false, whilst also claiming that his father and extended family have actually been living off him for the past 2 decades. Errol himself took to Facebook to push back on any reports that he had financed his son's early days, suggesting the mine in question, which he was thought to have held a stake in, collapsed in 1989. Of course, there was the obvious denial of anything to do with apartheid, and Errol even suggested that Elon left South Africa as a clear indication of his willingness to not support the political suppression in the country, although it is widely thought he went to North America to make his fortune. Elon's old man then walked us through the wrong and oppressive nature of apartheid, before also suggesting it wasn't fair to associate his son with all that. I mean, hopefully none of his cash stemmed from anything this egregious. What do you guys make of this story? As usual, thanks for dropping in on us today, and remember to swing by again next time for some more fun and games. And why not do us a big favor by liking and sharing today's video, whilst also subscribing to our channel. Bye guys!